Okay, today is just a quick review. You've probably, or you may have seen, you can get magnetic gluing jigs. So when you want to glue two pieces together, for example, just any two pieces, and you wanted to do a right angle, sometimes it's really handy to be able to have something to hold the pieces in place. And the sort of quickest and most flexible way is with a magnetic gluing jig, and they're a sheet of steel which has raised edges and some very nice sort of like two-sided magnets with some foam in between, so that you can place things and hold them while they dry. And if you've looked at those, they're quite expensive, so I thought we would have a go at. This is probably ends up about half the cost of the magnetic gluing jig. I've ordered from Amazon, with the links are in the comments or the description, a scrapbook magnetic board and some magnets. So the first thing we'll have a look at is the board, which is really well packaged. I don't know if there's a way up that's better or not, so this is it. Metal sheet, magnetic, for decorative purposes. Metal sheet. And I think if I was going to glue on this, just to protect it, I would use one of these Teflon sheets that you can get. You know, you can do polymer clay work on there. So I would maybe cut one of these to size. I've got a pack of 3 of those also on Amazon. And that would just mean that if the glue got on here, it's easy to wipe it off or pick it off. I don't know how. I don't know, I imagine it would be okay on there, but we'll see. We could do a trial with and without. So that's probably what I would use. And then I've got 2 sets of magnets, and I don't know about you, but always when you are ordering something on the internet, the dimensions never work out how you think. So these ones are 25 millimeters to 2.5 centimeters. Trying to get the light not shining and reflecting there, by 8mm by 2mm thick, and then these are 10 centimeters squared and about 4mm thick. And even though I know how big centimeters are, these came out smaller than I imagined. I don't know why that always happens. And they are very strong. You have to be careful with these around things like phones, probably in speakers and different things, because they're very strong magnets. And these came with these 2 end things, which I don't know what they're for. They certainly weren't in the product description. And these things are really strong. Not these things, these are the magnets, if you can see them there. The little ones there. So that's, I don't know that this sheet's magnetic. It doesn't feel magnetic. Maybe it's a metal sheet that you can use with magnet. Oop! That just did something there. It's alive. Metal sheet. It says magnetic, but I don't know. I've got some other things here that are very metallic, and they're not sticking to it either. So whether this is just a piece of metal, whether it's meant to actually have metallic properties, I don't know. That's my steel rule. No, that's not sticking. So whether I've got a faulty magnetic sheet or whether the sheet's not meant to be magnetic, I'm not quite sure, but that's okay because I've ordered the magnets to go with them, and they're very strong. Now, those might come in useful. They say the best way to get these apart is to slide them, because they won't pull apart and they can be quite tricky to sort of slide and get off. And then be careful about them going back together, because they try and jump together and they can chip. So that's oh, you can do a neat trick. My son was showing me this. You can put the magnet underneath and it can make it move. So there we are. You can do magic tricks with these, but also they will try and gravitate towards each other. So if I get my pieces of, I don't quite know, these aren't big enough, I don't think. This is a chimney breast that we're going to make, and I think the idea is, so I could line these up here, if I can get them apart. Wow, it's amazing how strong they are, and I'm not, evidently. There we go. So if we had these, we know that's a nice straight edge. And for example, then if I wanted to glue this at right angles, I could put that there, and we would put the glue on this edge, and we would butt that up, and then that actually holds those, and then you would put magnets. Well, I guess you could either, but we'll pretend this is a magnet. It could go on the inside, that kind of pushes it, or it could go over there and push the two things together. Now the ones, the more expensive ones, were bigger, sort of bigger square than this one, and they kind of went there like that, against the raised edge of this piece of metal, because it was right angles. And I think that's probably what you're paying extra for, is to take this piece of steel and bend these at right angles. And then these are the smaller. Don't know how this comes off. Is that a slide? There we go. These are squarer and feel a bit easier to get off. So I'm wondering, could we leave these in blocks? Can we make like towers? And then that would give us a straight edge. Nope. Okay. I could use my steel rule, although they'll probably try and stick to that. Oh! No. Can anyone see that happening? I've got a really good straight edge now. Look at that. It's slightly, if I push it there, it does want to do that. Well, there we go. Accident by design. Does accident by design? Is that the thing? So that, if it was the other side, put that safely out of the way, then that was there. Would that would be good. That would work. I just need to buy another steel rule, and then we would just put some on this side, and that's a perfect angle. Okay. It's not going to move. Can I do that? Okay. Let's put it at the other end. Okay, well it does want to go there, but let's just, if I do it enough to the edge, I'll be able to get my hand under it and flick it up if I need to. Okay, so if it does that now, there's a lip. Okay. So, I quite like that. What happens when I lift it up? Okay. So, that would definitely work for mat board like that then. Because the steel rule should be straight, this is straight, and then that would glue onto there, and we could just put some smaller magnets at this end to push it towards there. That would be okay. That's cool, and then when we're done we can move these out of the way and then just lift this away and that'll be glued. So let's get a bigger piece of chipboard. So for the witch's cottage, let's hope these can stay away from each other. That's the floor, that's the wall. It's going to sit on the floor. So we would have that there. That's going to go up against there. And then we would want this. It's got to do two things. It's got to be weighted down. You probably can't see that. It bows slightly. And then pushed up against this, which is trying to lean back a bit. If you push that, can you see that? It's better that way. But then we've got the ridge of the magnets, which I don't like. And then we want to push that down. So we would want, say, that there, and that there, and then that there. And then we still need something to push from this to keep it tight against that. But that's quite good, because the whole point of this is just to stop me having to don't really know if that not really, no. They don't help. Stop me having to hold it, so I could do that. I always use these weights all the time. So effectively now that joint is supported. Put those down there. Where's that movement? That movement's in the sheet. So if I hold the sheet down on this outside edge, so the sheet's slightly warped. I could use another weight out there. Oh, that's magnetic. Out. Okay. So that would work, and then the whole point is just it holds that at a really good square angle while it dries. So if I get a better option when I'm using this, I will update you. Okay, I've had a bit of a play, and for the larger pieces I'm using my steel rule, and I've put the longer rectangular ones against it, and because it's a steel rule, oh, I've just busted a nail now, the magnets are sticking to it, and it'll get more easily go that way, but it definitely doesn't want to go back that way. So although they stick out here and it's not as flat as that side, it actually doesn't seem to matter. So that when we take what's going to be the floor and then the wall, and we do this with it, So we put the floor there, and you see there's a gap there, but it doesn't actually seem to matter when we actually start using it. We put we imagine we're going to put the glue on here, and we push that in. If that was tilted back, you see when you just push it in, it holds it up. So these seem to work, these bits that came with it. Push them in, and then they hold that. And then put one there. And you just squeeze it in to make sure that it's sort of pushed down that end and that end. And you see this is bowing slightly. They all do. So we could get this piece then and put it there. Get another section of these. These are the 1 centimetre square ones. Yeah, that likes to go there. And here's some more there. And they all actually seem to hold it. And this is you probably can't see it on the camera, but this is completely dead vertical. It's not leaning back onto that ruler, so it's really got into the right angle at the bottom. Just keep pushing everything in. So I had glue on this then. I don't have to, because this distortion up here probably doesn't affect that joint, but just in case, straighten those out. So then the whole thing's square, and I could let that set now, and then the glue would go off, and then we could take these bits off. These then come out relatively easily without putting any pressure on the glue joint. And then that would, if that was glued, come away like that. That's about, does what I need it to do. And that's fairly strong. So I'll need to go and buy another steel ruler, I think, so that I've got one I can actually use in the studio and keep this on here. I might get another 2, and I'll try this with half the magnets maybe on that side. So I've got 2 parallel edges. It could work like a clamp. So I'll try that, and if that works I'll update you. So that's pretty good. So you will now be seeing me use this when I build the witch's cottage and any other pieces of furniture, and we'll see how that goes. So if you are interested, you want to have a go yourself, I'll put a link to both the more expensive magnetic gluing jig and then what I've used to recreate it here. Put those in the description. And it'll just take you straight through to Amazon. Okay, I hope that's useful to anybody. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.